Welcome to page 3. Here we go. The terminal side of an angle theta in standard position intersects the unit circle at this point right here. So we want to find the 6 trig ratios. Well, if it's intersecting this unit circle, that means that these coordinates tell us cosine of theta and sine of theta. So sine of theta is negative 40 over 41. Cosine of theta is 9 over 41. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so that is going to be negative 41 over 40. Secant is the reciprocal, so we just flip of cosine, so that'll be 41 over 9. Tangent is just sine over cosine, so we get the numerators, or something. The denominators here are going to cancel out when I put sine over cosine, so I can take a shortcut and just put 40 over 9, negative 40 over 9. And cotangent is going to be cosine over sine, or it's going to be the reciprocal of this one, so it'll be negative 9 over 40. There we go. This next one, cosine of beta is equal to 5/13. So we're given cosine. We can go ahead and write down 5/13. And this is in between 0 and pi over 2. 0 and pi over 2 is quadrant 1, so everything is going to be positive. Since I know cosine, that means I also know secant. I just take the reciprocal of that at 13 over 5. To find sine, I need to do the Pythagorean identity. So sine squared theta is equal to 1 minus cosine squared theta. Plug in what we know, which is cosine. 5/13 squared. See if I can make that a little bit brighter. There we go. 5/13 squared. So we'll do 169 over 169 minus 25 over 169. 169 minus 25 is 144 over 169. So that will be equal to sine squared. Root both sides. Sine theta is equal to 12/13. And we know it's positive because we're in quadrant 1. So sine is 12/13, which means cosecant is 13 over 12. Tangent is sine over cosine, so 12 over 5. The denominators would cancel out, the 13s would cancel out. And cotangent is the reciprocal of that, 5 over 12. Here is more unit circle with negative angle identities. Sine is an odd function, so this would be equal to negative sine of pi over 4. And then sine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. So this would be negative square root of 2 over 2. Cosine is an even function, so we could just drop the negative. So this would just be cosine of pi over 6, which should be the square root of 3 over 2. Tangent is an odd function, so that would be negative tangent of pi over 3, which would be a negative sine of pi over 3 divided by cosine of pi over 3, which should be, so sine, that's square root of 3 over 2 with a negative up front, and 1/2 there. 2's cancel out, leaving the negative square root of 3. Cosecant. Cosecant is equal to 1 over sine. And since sine is odd, that means cosecant is going to be odd as well. So this will be equal to a negative 1 over sine of 5 pi over 3. Sine of 5 pi over 3, I believe, is the negative square root of 3 over 2. So 1 over the negative square root of 3 over 2. And because it's the reciprocal, we'll just flip it because we want cosecant. So we're going to simplify this to be a negative 2 over the square root of 3. And then we use our little rationalization trick. Should give us negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. Secant is 1 over cosine, so that makes secant an even function, which means we can just drop this negative. So that'll be equal to, we still have to keep the negative out front. We can just drop the one inside the parentheses. So secant of pi over 3, which is just 1 over cosine of pi over 3, which is cosine of pi over 3 should be 1/2, so it should be a negative 1 over 1/2, which is a negative 2. One more for this page. Cotangent of negative pi over 4. Cotangent is just going, so cotangent is cosine over sine. So cosine over sine. So since this is even, this is odd, sine would be turned negative, but cosine would stay the same. So that makes cotangent an odd function. So we could bring this negative out. So we would get a negative cotangent of positive pi over 4, which these would just cancel out and become positive. So we want cotangent of pi over 4, which is just cosine of pi over 4 divided by sine of pi over 4. And that is square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2. And those are exactly the same. Everything would cancel out, leaving just 1. Okay, that concludes page 3. I will see you guys for page 4.